Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if you will let me know if you can see this or not. Okay, are you all able to see? Let me. Are you all able to see that? It says info session STEM undergrad. Yes. Okay, awesome. All right. Well, as I said, we have a few people who are um, joining us, and I am going to be toggling between screens. So if you do see someone who's in the waiting room and I'm not admitting them, please uh, unmute yourself and let me know. And I do apologize. There's a bit of background noise because someone is working in the hallway outside of my office. So I apologize if you can hear that. I will increase my volume just a little bit.
I'm gonna get twins.
For those of you who are joining, if you can please remember to mute yourselves. Okay, are you all still able to see my screen? Okay. Sorry, we still have students who are joining us slowly, so I do apologize. But we will go ahead and get started. Okay, so welcome to the info session for STEM undergraduate opportunities. My name is Chastity Graham, and I am a National Fellowships Coordinator, and I work primarily with students who are studying in STEM disciplines, and so students who are competing for STEM awards. I want to share the agenda with you briefly. Are you all able to see the agenda? Yes? Are you all able to see the agenda? If someone could unmute their mic and just tell me yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have multiple screens open, so I can't necessarily see you if you shake your heads. I do apologize. Thank you for dropping it in the chat as well. Okay, so a few things that we're going to cover today in the time that we have. We're going to talk about what is a National Fellowship. We're going to talk about what you as a student might do with the National Fellowship. We're going to talk about what could a STEM pathway look like for you as a STEM student. I'm going to share some information with you about a few of our very large list of fellowships. So I will share about 10, I believe I have in my presentation. And we are fortunate enough to have some of our students with us who are previous or current winners of a fellowship. And so they're going to share their perspective from the student side of things. And then following our students, we will talk about in general what makes a good applicant. We will look at ways that you can get started now if you are pursuing one of these opportunities. And then we will talk about next steps. Any questions regarding the agenda before I continue? I'm taking a minute to let in a few more students, so I'll pause right now to see if there are any questions about the agenda. Okay. So now that I have heard from you, now that you have heard from me who I am and what I do, if you will take just a minute to introduce yourself to us, you may do that by either dropping your information in the chat, but I hope some of you will unmute yourselves and tell us your name, your major and year, and what you are interested in exploring in STEM if you know that.
I'm Eli. I'm a freshman and I'm a dual degree computer science and mathematics, and I'm interested in exploring research and internships.
Thank you.
My name's Lyndon.
And
I'm
like
a
I said, if you
sorry.
no,
My
go
name is
ahead. Thank
Lyndon.
you.
My name's Lyndon. I'm a freshman biochem major. I'm also interested in research, potentially mitochondrial or stem cell biology.
Thank you. And I do see some people dropping their information in the chat. Thank you so much for that. If there are any others who want to unmute yourselves and share with us who you are, what's your major, what year are you, and what are you interested in studying if you know. Anyone else want to share before we move on? I see some people typing. Thank you, Cami, for joining us. Cami is one of our Honors College advisors, so I appreciate you joining me this evening. And I think this is Soraya, who has dropped her information in the chat. I apologize if I mispronounced your name, as well as Peyton, who has dropped information in the chat. Are there any others who would like to unmute yourselves and introduce yourselves to us, or you can feel free to continue to drop that information in the chat. Hi, Sandra. Welcome. Okay, I see Kate. Thank you for joining us. And I think this is Jaya. Again, I apologize if I mispronounced your name. Thank you so much for joining us. Also, the chat is moving pretty quickly, so if I overlook anyone's name, I do apologize. Okay. Okay, thank you, Elena. I understand. Thank you for putting your information in the chat. You're welcome, Nathan. And is it L, I believe, freshman biology major? Thank you for joining us. And then Alina, thank you for joining us. Thank you. So I see lots of biology majors, information technology. I think I saw some biochemistry, public health, um, neuroscience, art history. So we have a pretty diverse group of students. And I, again, thank you all. And they're still coming in for those who are dropping your information in the chat. I do appreciate that. I encourage those of you who are on to look and see who's in our group so that you know who you might connect with in the future for some reason. Thank you, Rebecca. Biomedical engineering. So I see lots of STEM majors of varying types. And again, I appreciate you all being here and sharing a little bit about yourself. But I don't want to put anyone on the spot. So if you don't want to share, that is fine as well. Just know we appreciate you being here. Okay, with that said, we are going to move along. Okay, are you all still able to see the slide that says, what is a national fellowship?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Amber and Esther. Okay. Okay, so before I tell you anything additional about national fellowships, let me have some of our student guests to tell me what you think or what do you know about a national fellowship so far. You can again unmute yourselves, or you might drop your answers in the chat. You can drop keywords. Just tell me what comes to mind when you think of a national fellowship. It does not have to be a full definition. It can be a keyword if
How are you
that
doing?
is.
Good. Good to see you.
For those of you who are joining, if you can please remember to mute your mics. Okay. Does anyone have an idea about the meaning of a national fellowship? Any thoughts, any keywords that come to mind? You can drop them in the chat or unmute yourselves and share aloud. Don't all answer at once.
It's something that potentially gives you money or an opportunity to do something.
Okay, good. Something that potentially gives you money or an opportunity to do something. That's a great, concise, student-friendly way to explain it. Thank you for that. Anyone would like to add? Any other thoughts? Okay, well, again, I will not put anyone on the spot. I will go ahead and share with you. These are nationally competitive merit-based awards that can fund opportunities outside of the university. So I basically said exactly what Eli shared, just added a few additional words. So that is the big idea surrounding national fellowships. You may or may not know that national fellowships usually require essays that ask you about your goals and what you want or why you want the fellowship and how it might help you with your future goals and aspirations or your next steps. And again, as Eli mentioned, a national fellowship can fund different types of experiences. So some of those experiences are things like studying abroad, internships, research opportunities, things of that nature. Okay. As a student, you might be wondering, what can you do with the National Fellowship? So here's some examples. These are 4 students who are, who had very different experiences. So I will share briefly with you what these students did, and you can let me know if any of this sounds interesting to you. So our first student, and I am going from left to right, starting on the top row. Our student Laquita was a biology major, and she used her national fellowship to fund graduate school. She actually won a fellowship. It is called the National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowship. Our second student, Felicia McGill, used her fellowship to study abroad. Felicia was a math major, and she won the Goldwater Scholarship. Our third student here, Mike, won the Critical Language Scholarship. Mike was a biology pre-med major, and he used his fellowship to learn a language. And then our last student here is Michael. And Michael won what we call the PPIA, which stands for Public Policy and International Affairs. He was a mechanical engineering major, and he had interest in policy making. So some of these student awards will be covered during today's presentation because they are STEM specific awards, but other awards students won simply because they were STEM majors. So it's important for you to understand that as a STEM major, you have unlimited opportunities and you can win multiple types of awards. Some of them might be STEM specific, some of them may not be.
Can anyone hear me by any chance?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can too. I think
Okay.
something on the other end. So I might email, I think Miss Chastity real quick, because I think some of left.
I
Mhm.
think there's an internet issue on campus because I'm on the horseshoe and I got kicked off, so that's probably what's happening if I had to guess.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, thanks.
I'm also at home and it's working fine for me. So I'm assuming that that's correct. That it's probably a USC, middle of campus thing. So hold on just a minute. I'm sure Chas will be back shortly.
I think you're muted.
Okay. So did you all hear any of the information on this slide? Can you still see the slide that says fellowship overview research focus?
No.
No. Okay. Interesting.
It,
All right.
it cut out for about 8 minutes, I would say.
Oh, wow. Okay. Very interesting. Okay. I Guys, I did not know that that was going to happen, but we're going to persevere and problem solve. All right, let's try this again. I do apologize. Share screen. Okay. Are you all able to see that?
Yes.
Yes, that says fellowships overview research. But you didn't hear any of the information that I shared on it?
No.
Okay, so in the interest of time, because I do have other fellowships to cover, I'm going to kind of do a very quick overview of this. We will kind of go backwards and then forward. So one of the research opportunities is the Dodd Rise. I know several of you are first year students, so if you are not eligible for this one because it is open for sophomores, juniors, and seniors to do summer research in Germany, if you're not eligible this year, this is certainly something you can look forward to. You would do research in Germany with students who will serve as your mentor. No German is required, and you need at least a 3.0 grade point average. This one is typically going to be due near the end of November or sometimes the 1st of December. So it fluctuates slightly. The Goldwater is the most prestigious award for undergraduate students who are studying in the areas of math, sciences, and engineering. It is also for sophomores and juniors, and you need at least a 3.8 grade point average. This one is also heavily focused on research, so you need at least some research experience, and also you need to be thinking about a future career in research. They're really looking for students who can contribute to a specific field of study. So if you're an engineering major, you're interested in doing research, and you believe that you can contribute to the field of engineering research, then this will be for you. One note about the deadline. The deadline that you see here that says due in October, that is actually what we call a campus deadline. This is a nominated competition, which means that as a student, you may apply, but then you will meet with faculty members who will ask you additional follow-up questions, review your application materials in October, and decide if you're going to be nominated or not. The university can nominate up to 4 students, and so you can apply. This process happens in October, and then the final national deadline is not until January. We actually have some of our Goldwater scholars on this call who you will hear from a little bit later. NIH, the National Institute of Health Summer Institute, is for undergraduate students who are interested in doing biomedical research with an NIH mentor. It is typically going to be due in October. This one does have a financial component, so there's a requirement that you must meet in order to be eligible for a particular opportunity. You need at least a 3.3 grade point average. And there's a service requirement that is very important for you to know. For this one, there are 2 service requirements actually. There is a one-time 10-week summer internship with NIH, and then also for each year of funding that you receive, there is also a commitment for 1 year of employment with NIH. But I guess the upside of that is that it offers job security. So keep in mind that there is a service component for the NIH. All right, and then the last research-focused fellowship that I'm going to cover for STEM right now is our REUs. These are research experiences for undergraduate students, and there are many opportunities. They're open to all undergraduates, and they are at universities throughout the United States. And for that reason, there are various deadlines. They typically open from December to February, so you will be working on applications during that time period, but the deadlines are going to vary based on the university. These usually require that you have at least a 3.0 GPA. Some of them require that you have past research experience, and some of them do not. Most of these are going to be in STEM fields, but there are some opportunities in other areas like the social sciences. Okay, and I'm going to pause here just a minute to see if anyone has any questions about these research-focused opportunities before I move to the next set of fellowships. All right, well, I think I've allowed for good wait time, so we will move to the next category. Do you all see environmental focus fellowships overview? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Just making sure my screen does not time out again. Okay, so the next set of fellowships have an environmental focus. So if you're interested in topics like environmental research, policy, or education, these might be of interest to you. Okay, the first fellowship that I'd like to discuss with you is focused on freshmen who are interested in working with NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And also you will be working with a NOAA mentor. This one is due in March. It is actually preparing freshmen to be competitive for the Noah Holling Scholarship, which I'll talk about next. This prep program prepares freshmen through a 4 to 6 week program during the summer. And as a participant, you will receive a scholarship, a stipend, training, professional development, as well as help applying for the actual NOAA scholarship during your sophomore year. Okay, and as mentioned, Noah Holling Scholarship is for sophomores who are in
Can you hear me? Like, can anyone hear
Yeah.
me?
Yes,
Yes.
I heard you, Esther.
Okay.
My guess is she needs to join a hotspot because I'm on the horseshoe and that's how I'm getting on this. I'm assuming
Hmm.
that's her issue.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, I wonder why you can be on, but if you're not on Wi-Fi, that makes sense.
I got kicked out the meeting earlier, so I mean,
Yeah, I actually got kicked off twice, once earlier and then once just now.
the guest Wi-Fi seems to be working better than EDU Roam.
I'm too lazy to bother switching, so we'll just deal with EDU Rome and see what happens.
Okay. Hi. I'm so sorry. I have no idea why this is cutting out. I'm not even sure when it cut out. Can you all give
I
me
think
an
some other people are having trouble with Wi-Fi too, so it might be the Wi-Fi issues.
maybe the campus is having issues. I'm not sure.
It cut off when you're describing Hollings. I'm on the horseshoe right now. I'm on a hotspot. I don't know if that might be helpful. Because I think
Okay.
it is a Wi-Fi issue.
Okay. Thank you for that. So very quickly, since you kind of heard about Hollings, I'll skip down to Udall just because interest of time. I was just saying that Udall is a little more flexible in that it is open to sophomores or juniors who are interested in the environment, tribal policy, or tribal healthcare. It is also going to be due in January. So if you are a student who is committed to leadership, public service, or some issues related to Native American nations or the environment, this might be a great fit for you. This is an ideal program for students who are looking towards working on solutions for environmental challenges or issues impacting Native Americans. For this one, you need at least a 3.0 grade point average. And as a part of this experience, you would participate in a 1 week, I think 5-day let's build some skills. Cami, were you trying to say something?
Hey, yeah, sorry. I just want to let you know that when you go out and come back in again, the presentation stops sharing. So you might want to re-share your screen if you want us to be able to see it.
Sorry, Cami, I didn't hear anything if you said something.
No, it's okay. I think it seems based on like the reactions that you're still coming in and out. So I was saying that when you come in and out, the screen you're sharing goes away. So if you wanted to reshare it so we could see it, I don't think any of us can at the time.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
What about now? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I do apologize. I have no idea why this is continuing to cause issues. So we have 3 more fellowships that I am going to discuss. Hopefully you will be able to hear about all of them. Please unmute and let me know if for some reason you cannot see the screen, and I'm happy to pause and reshare. So I know we've covered a lot, or I've covered a lot. I don't know if you've heard everything, but if you've heard something interesting or something that sounds of interest, make sure you jot it down so that you can, schedule an appointment with our office so you can ask additional questions. But at this time, I'm going to give you some information about a few more opportunities, and these are just a variety of fellowships related to STEM. The first one is the Churchill Scholarship. This is for seniors who are interested in pursuing graduate study and research in the physical and natural sciences, or also math and engineering. It's usually due in November. This program provides 1 year of study at the University of Cambridge. It's focused on helping to advance science and technology in the United States and also the UK. And students are selected based on academic and research achievements. Okay, the next opportunity is the GEM. This is for seniors as well. This one is focused on students who are from underrepresented groups in science and engineering who are interested in pursuing master's or PhD degrees. It is also going to be due in November. This program offers paid summer internships as well as graduate assistance. It provides access to some of the top engineering and science firms from across the United States. For this one, you need at least a 2.8 grade point average, and you would need to take the GRE to qualify for one of the GEM member university programs. All of these programs are listed on the GEM website so that you can see that list. And then last but not least, the SMART opportunity is for undergraduate or graduate students. So it's open to all levels who are interested in STEM research internships with the Department of Defense. It is due in December. This is open to students from a variety of disciplines. There are about 21 different areas that they allow students to apply from. You need to have at least a 3.0 grade point average. And this one also has a service agreement. If you remember earlier when I was talking about the NIH opportunity, that one has a service agreement, and so does this one. So for every year of funding that you would get from this opportunity, you would be expected to commit to 1 year of employment with the Department of Defense. But as I mentioned, that's also great job security. This is a great opportunity because it does offer full tuition, an annual stipend. It offers internship experiences, and then of course guaranteed employment. Okay, so has anyone heard anything that sounds interesting? Any of our students? I think we might have lost a few people, but for those of you who are still remaining, anybody hear anything of interest? All right, well, as I mentioned earlier, we have the pleasure of having some of our scholars here with us. These students have lived through the process, and so I'd like to take the opportunity to allow them to share a bit of their stories with you. They can share anything they choose about the application process or their experience with the internship or the research experience. And if you have any questions that the students might be able to answer, please take a minute to jot those down as they're speaking, or drop them in the chat so that you can hear the student perspective. And whoever would like to go first, if you will just start by introducing yourself, tell us which award you won or awards, because some of you have won multiple, and just talk briefly about your experience with the award.
I guess I'll go first. So my name's Neil Hammond, and I'm a senior. I'm a neuroscience and bio major. And I won the Goldwater Award actually for research. And the process was actually really informative for me because I kind of like started applying, I guess, later than was recommended. So I got to quickly learn how the process worked and like start working on getting letters of recommendation with my teachers and stuff. And then I worked really extensively with the National Fellows Office to develop my essay. They were like super helpful. And I guess like ever since I got it, I haven't had like, it's not like an internship or anything, but it is a lot of money that will help me finish undergrad, and it's actually really helped me like solidify the questions that I want to answer in graduate school and like how I want to approach answering them. So specifically, I am a neuroscience major, but I realize that I can actually get at the questions I'm really passionate about by doing research in clinical psychology field. So it kind of like, helped me change directions. But it was just really a great process for me to like learn kind of what I really wanted, because it forces you to like write all of it down. So I definitely benefited from it, not just financially, but also from the process.
I'll go next. So my name's Amber. I'm a junior bars computational biology major in the Honors College. I'm also a Goldwater Scholar, and this summer I participated in the Broad Summer Research Program, which is a summer genomics research program at the Broad Institute of MIT and Harvard for students from underrepresented groups. And I also was accepted to DAD Rise and to NSFRU, so if you have any questions about the application, I feel free to answer those. But talking more about Goldwater, kind of with what Neil was saying, you really have to dig deep into what you really want to do. Like I realized like the very specific questions I wanted to answer, I realized I wanted to take more computational coursework and kind of change my direction with like my courses that I was going to take my junior and senior year. and kind of really saw how my research experience is connected. And I was able to see, like, I don't want to be a PI at a university, but I want to do maybe like a research science position at a genomics institute, or I want to go into industry. So I was really able to like see that through applying. And then after I got the Goldwater Scholarship, I was introduced to this Goldwater Scholar community. So we have like 10,000 Goldwater scholars, and we have like a whole Slack. And you can ask like any question about like graduate school or UK fellowships or graduate school or anything in between, and somebody will answer your question. So it's super helpful network. I actually got a Goldwater Scholar mentor who's a PI at one of my top graduate schools. And he also really helped me realize I might want to apply to genomics PhD programs. And he's also going to help me with my PhD applications next year. And a lot of companies actually recruit for through the Goldwater Scholar website. So I was able to get a fellowship through that and through at a computational biochemistry company. And that kind of helped me realize what I wanted to do in the future and what I didn't want to do in the future. As far as the Broad Summer Research Program, I'm really interested in genomics, and the Broad is the Genomics Institute, which I mentioned earlier, is something I realized I wanted to do. And I'm specifically interested in the Broad after going through the Goldwater application process. And I was able to work in the top computational genomics lab in the world in my field, which was a super amazing experience. I had absolutely fantastic mentorship there, and I learned so much computationally going through that experience, because I kind of came into that internship with running relatively low scale computations, and came out of that internship doing like programs that had to run on 750 computers simultaneously. And I learned that all in 9 weeks, and it's just such a fantastic experience. And I'm actually still working for them for the next 2 years. So that's really exciting.
So I'm Esther Adelson. I guess I'll go next. I received the Noah Hollings Scholarship, and I'm a chemistry and math double major and a junior. So with the fact the Hollings, it is an environmental, you're working with NOAA, which is National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration. Like, you have to have an interest in environmental science, but you don't have to be a marine science major or an environmental science major to get it. Like, we had an orientation the first like week in the summer, and there were people who were like atmospheric and marine science there, of course, but there were also a whole lot of engineering majors. There were people interested in government policy. Like, really, if you're into any of like government work, working to better the environment, or even just looking for like a possibility of an internship at a government agency, this is something that you should look into. They give you money, you get an internship in between your junior and senior years in undergrad. And like, there's a number of other like little perks. I'd say look into it, definitely. The application process itself is a process. You have to write a whole essay, you have to get letters of rec and all that, but it's not the worst application I've had to write. I think there's a little bit of soul searching. You definitely have to like write a whole personal statement and know what you're talking about and think about what you want to do and really be able to be like, could I see myself working in government policy in the future? But overall, like, I really enjoyed the program. I am looking forward to the fact that I'm going to be able to like choose something to do next summer, and the fact that that's like handled, like I don't have to apply for stuff now. And I'm like, it's very comforting to have that. So yeah.
Okay, I think I'm the last person. So my name is Nina. I am a junior environmental science major, and I am also in the Honors College. This past summer, I participated in an REU, which stands for Research Experience for Undergraduates, a variety of institutions across the US, and I think a few maybe in Canada / like some of our like Guam / Virgin Islands, but across the US will host summer internships, and I received one through Rutgers University, which is in New Jersey. And the title of the program was called Research Internships in Ocean Science. So it was a good culmination of combining like a research project over the summer, but then also getting like an internship kind of feel slash job moment. I did receive a stipend, which was quite helpful because I guess in a sense it was paid, and they helped me move up to New Jersey and back from New Jersey, and then kind of everything in between. So they were financially helpful in that aspect. My project briefly was working on oysters. So I am interested in marine science, but I worked with a PI who was extremely helpful. My mentor was great. I think got lucky in that sense, but really I think in any fellowship you'll be able to get a wonderful experience out of it. And then the application process was, I wouldn't say simple, but I think for me it was a little bit simple because I had just finished applying to another very large national fellowship that I did not receive that one, but that experience of applying to that one helped me immensely in my application to the REU that I did in fact get. So that was good. There was like some personal statements. There was also some letter of recs and all that stuff. But it was an experience. I would say a lot of people tend to apply to a multitude of REUs or even like a multitude of fellowships. And I think that is amazing to be ambitious, but I would say to slightly caution yourself and not spreading yourself too thin because it can be a little exhausting, but that's just a little piece of advice I guess I would have. And then something that came out of this fellowship, which was really amazing, was I received funding to go to, because I presented at the end of my summer of my research and my experience. I received full funding to go to the Ocean Sciences meeting, which is a national conference for marine science, environmental, but like focusing on the ocean science community. So that was amazing and something that I was able to get out of that as a little perk. So I would say that was my experience. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Okay, thank you to Nina, Esther, Neil, and Amber for sharing. So if you all will please drop your email addresses maybe in the chat. That way, if you have any questions that you want to follow up and talk to any of our fellowship winners about, you can do that if you don't feel comfortable doing it in this space. We also have the option for you to schedule coffee chats with them. They are happy to take you for coffee and chat with you about any of the fellowships they shared today or just the fellowship process in general. I will be sending everyone here like a follow-up email, and then and in that email I will make sure to include a link where you can click on that link and see additional information in case you forgot any of the information that they share, which awards they won, as well as some of our other student winners. So you will thank them again. They have dropped their information in the chat. And I'm going to try to successfully get through the rest of this presentation without any further interruptions. But before we move forward, does anybody have a question or a comment? Any of our student attendees? Okay, I'm going to try to share my screen again. Are you all able to see that? Yes. Okay, thank you. So what makes a good fellowships applicant? You just heard from 4 different students who won different awards and had different experiences. So I want to share just a little bit of information with you. This is Harrison. You may know Harrison, you may not. But I want you to take a minute to read Harrison's quote to yourself. Okay, so in general, there is no perfect applicant. That's the gist of Harrison's quote. However, if you're thinking, I'm interested in applying, what are some things I need to take into consideration? So here are just a few things that will be applicable to some of these fellowships, but not necessarily all of them. First, if you have an interest in research, you might be a great candidate. You do need to have, solid academics. If you listened during my presentation when I shared the overview, most of them require at least a 3.0 grade point average. So you need to have at least a 3.0 for most of these. Some of them had higher requirements. Some of them, I know at least one of them had a 2.8. So the academic requirements will vary, but keep in mind that that is one component of the application. Something else, leadership experience. And leadership might look a lot of different ways. Again, different fellowships are going to focus more heavily on leadership. Others may focus less on leadership. But think about, especially since I saw that I had several first-year students, think about leadership opportunities that you might look into so that you do have these sorts of experiences to include on your application. And then, of course, resilience and follow through in the face of obstacles. I know several of our students, at least two of them, one of them said that he started late, and another student said that she applied for more than one fellowship. So it is important that you have resilience and follow through, even when you face obstacles, because sometimes you might apply for 3 fellowships, you might get all 3, you might get 1, you might get 2. So just understanding that sometimes there will be obstacles. As you heard, each person kind of talked about the application process and their take on if it was difficult or not. So keep in mind that there are questions that you will need to answer as a part of the application. There are also essays, and you just need to have resilience for those sorts of things. And then, of course, you need to have your own perspective about the world's biggest problem. So whether you're interested in the environment, whether you're interested in research, studying abroad, whatever the topic may be, make sure you think about, I think someone said here, you need to do some soul searching and think about who you are and what your perspective might be on certain issues. Okay, almost done. What can you do now? I'm going to go through this one quickly because of time. But basically, things that you can do now, challenge yourself when you are selecting classes. And then, of course, do well in those classes. Look for opportunities to do research on campus during the summer and even outside of USC. And then if you heard Nina, I believe it was, say, she had the opportunity to present at the end of her experience and she attended a conference. So look for additional opportunities that you might not just think about. Ways to present your research if you have the opportunity to do research. You might be doing like a poster presentation at the end of something. It might be a publication. If you have not heard, we do have an Office of Undergraduate Research. For those of you who are first-year students, I put their email address here. If you are interested in research and you don't know how, you can reach out to the Office of Undergraduate Research, and they're happy to, meet with you as well as try to pair you with a faculty member who might be doing some research that might be of interest to you. And then also in the spring, the university hosts something called Discover USC. That's an opportunity for you to present on your research. So if you do get the opportunity to do some research this year, you might also look into the Discover USC as an opportunity to present your research experience. Okay, how to craft a strong application. Gonna go through this one pretty quickly. Whoops, too quickly. You want to start early. Find the fellowship that fits because there are many. I only covered about 10 in this presentation, but our database, if you haven't seen our database, it has hundreds of fellowship opportunities. It can easily be overwhelming, but again, our office is here to help you navigate those, as well as our peer mentors who can help you think through what might be appropriate. So finding your fit, using the resources that you have, be open to feedback because you want to utilize our office to help you apply and read your essays, give you feedback, but you do need to be open to the feedback. Think about and demonstrate your interest. Think about your goals and accomplishments, even things that you might not think are substantial. Think about how you might talk those things up in an application. And then, as I've mentioned at least once or twice, think about grabbing coffee with one of our fellowship peer mentors. These are 4 students who volunteered to hang out with us this evening, and we are so grateful for them. They are more than happy to meet with you to talk about a fellowship opportunity, and we also have other students as well. And like I said, when I send the follow-up email, I will put a link in there so that you can see the list of fellowship peer mentors who might be able to meet with you for coffee. All right. And how can you get started now? Well, you've already taken the first step by attending this workshop. So again, thank you for joining us this evening. The second is if you want to just kind of browse around and figure out what additional opportunities there are, you can go to our database. This is the website address here, or you can just go to the USC website and type in National Fellowships, and you will see an option for competitions database. And you can type in things like, I'm a freshman, I'm a sophomore, I'm studying STEM, I'm studying art, music, etc. You can look in opportunities for studying abroad. It lets you search by various factors, so you can spend some time there. Or if you think that sounds very overwhelming, then you can make an appointment with myself or another one of our advisors to kind of help you go through that database and navigate and find out what might align with your interests. And basically, we will just, have a conversation with you about what are your goals, what are your interests, what are you looking to do? Are you looking to study abroad? Are you looking for summer research? Do you want a paid internship, etc.? And then also, as a part of that appointment, we will ask you to create a candidate profile. When you sign up, it will automatically let you know to create a candidate profile so that we can keep in contact with you and update your profile as you kind of develop additional interests. Okay, and then once you have a meeting with us and we kind of go over, let's say 3 or 4 fellowships, you go home, you think about it. I really want to apply for Noah Hollings or Goldwater or whatever the competition might be. Then you complete what we call an intent to apply form, which just means I've made up my mind. I'm seriously going to move forward with applying for this application. That way we will know to reach out to you to make sure that you stay engaged in the process. All right, we made it at 7:01 with all the interruptions. Again, I apologize. I don't know what's going on with the internet, but at this time, if you have any questions, you may feel free to unmute yourselves and ask those questions, or you may just drop them in the chat, and they can be for me or for the fellowship peer mentors. Okay, thank you. I do see those of you who have dropped comments in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time and your patience. Okay, if you don't have any questions, you are free to sign out. I will stay here for just a few minutes to see if there's anyone who wants to stay back and ask any questions. Otherwise, thank you again for joining, and you can be on the lookout for an email from me tomorrow. I will send a recording of our video as well as the PowerPoint presentation and then additional information. Okay, so yes, we can help with any application. So yes, we can help with the NIH application in terms of guiding you through the application, reviewing your answers. So yes, to that question. I think that's from Yuri. And then I see another question here. Does not having research experience disadvantage your application for national fellowship? It depends on which fellowship. So if you heard Nina speak about she applied for research experiences for undergraduate students, those have varying requirements. Some of them are going to require research. Some of them may not require research. But if you're applying for something like the Goldwater that Neil and Amber talked about, that is more research heavy. And so they do require that you have research experience. So I think it's Soraya. I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong. It depends on which fellowship you apply for. You'll notice that our answer to many things will be it depends, unfortunately, but that is the answer. It depends. So again, I see another question about who to contact for specific applications. You can meet with any of our fellowship coordinators. We're all cross-trained. I primarily work with students who are majoring in STEM disciplines or students who are competing for STEM awards. So if you're interested in any of the awards that I discussed tonight, you can schedule an appointment with me. When I send you all the email, my availability link will be in my signature line, but you can schedule with any advisor. Okay. Yeah, the SMART, again, a great opportunity. Certainly, if you want to speak further about it, feel free to schedule an appointment with me. Or we do have, I think, at least one current FPM. She's not with us this evening, but she won the SMART. And so I'm sure she'd be happy to speak with you about that experience. Okay, any other questions? All right. Well, thank you again to my FPMs for joining me. I really appreciate your support and patience during this challenging session with the internet and without the internet. Thank you all again.
Thank you, Chastity.